Hi guys, I'm Shayda and it's a beautiful summer evening in Prince Edward Island. I just got home from work and I'm about to sit down and do some sketches or some illustrations. We're going to focus in this tutorial on our summer illustrations, and we're going to approach these illustrations with a sort of meditative, journaling, really relaxed vibe because it's summer and because we're just not all about getting it right all the time. We're about developing our style and having fun. So let's get started.
So what we're going to do today is what I would call illustrating on a theme. And of course the theme is going to be summer favorites because I'm going to be showing you guys how to do some different summer illustrations. But doing these illustrative themed pages is a great way to relax. It's a great alternative to watching TV or something in the evening. And it's also a great way to develop your own illustrative style. And it's a great piece of decor or a decorative item for a bullet journal. So here's one that I did on Wildflowers of Prince Edward Island, and I wasn't too worried about how I was drawing these flowers. I was just drawing my favorite flowers from memory or from a picture if I really needed it, and just having fun with it. And you can really see your style start to develop as you do these. And as I always say, it's really not about getting it right. So the one I'm going to do here today for our tutorial is summer favorites, and I'm going to start with one of my favorite things to illustrate, which is a jellyfish. And these are really fun. You just sort of do a semicircle. It can be long and thin or short and stumpy, and you're just going to draw some wispy lines coming down from the bottom of that semicircle. And then, as with any thing that has a face, you can draw sort of any face, and it's totally up to you. So I'm doing this sort of lashy eyes and making it this kind of cute lady jellyfish. So I'll just write that on there. And the next thing I'm going to do here is the watermelon slice. And I've done these before. This is a simple summary illustration. I start again with a semicircle, and then for the rind, I go out from that initial circle and do the rind as sort of a separate thing so that there's a little bit of negative space in between there. And then I just put 5 seeds, and they don't all have to be the same size or anything like that. And it just gives that look of a watermelon. And that's sort of how I've chosen to illustrate it. Okay, and then for the next thing here, this is one that I like to do in the summer. This is the summer beach umbrella. So again, I guess we're starting with a semicircle, and you're going to leave the bottom off and just draw the stripes that are on the umbrella, and then you're going to sort of join the bottom there in little bits. And I like to add a little scalloped edge to make it into this very pretty feminine sun umbrella. And I'll just sort of sketch that out a bit, make sure the shape is right. And then I'm going to add the rod, which I just put right in the center, and you can put it on a bit of an angle if you like. And then I'm going to do just a few little lines here to sort of make it look like it's sitting in the sand. And of course, a couple dots of the pen also give the illusion of this sandy beach. I'll add a few rectangles, and I'm sort of just angling them there to give a bit of perspective, and those are just some beach towels, and a little swirl in the sand could be a shell, and of course you can add any sort of beachy elements that you like. But that's sort of my summer beach umbrella, and it's quite easy to put that illustration together. Okay, what's next? I'm going to draw a conch shell. So this one's a little hard to describe, but I start with this long squiggly line, and that will really determine how big the shell is going to be. And then you're going to do a curved line across the top, sort of curved down, and then a line on the other side of that second line there, meeting at the bottom. And then for the top bit, you're going to do these sort of bulbous rounds. Like I said, hard to describe, but I hope that you can see what I'm doing here and sort of follow along. And you can play around with what you want the top of the shell to look like, but I always sort of do the 3 tiers. And then you add a little bit of a fringe or a little scalloped edge there. And then, of course, you just have to add a second line going out from the side and meeting at the bottom there. And that's, of course, the opening of the shell. And you can modify this drawing to illustrate any shells that you might find on the beach, but that's the basic shell that I sort of draw for any summer illustrations. Okay, now I'm going to do something, and I think this will really illustrate the point I'm trying to get across about just drawing things the way you think of them, not exactly how they are. So for this barbecue, I'm just basically doing a circle, a little handle, 2 little feet, and then maybe a bit of steam. But you know what it is. It's barbecue, or it's a little hibachi, and it's not perfect by any means, but it's a representation of the idea of a barbecue, and it's just this fun, quirky little illustration. And I will obviously have to draw some ice cream because I love illustrating ice cream and cupcakes and anything that's sort of bulbous and gloopy. And so I'm doing 2 scoops there, and they're just sort of drippy and fun to draw. And then I finish it with a triangle with a rounded point and a little bit of a grid to represent the waffle cone. And of course I put a little cherry on top, but you could also finish it with little sprinkles or something like that. And you could put as many scoops as you want. And the next thing that we'll illustrate is camping, summer camping. So I'm going to do a little tent. You're going to put a line there for the sort of tent pole in the middle, and you're going to make a triangle. You're going to sort of do this triangular prism, and whatever side you're drawing the side of the tent on, that side of the triangle will be a little closer to the rod in the center. But basically you're going to draw a triangular prism, and then you can just add some little details there, like the flaps or the string going out from the side. And I'm going to do some clouds and the moon and a little bit of grass, and that's just sort of what I think of when I think of summer camping. Okay, and then I'll also draw an anchor to represent boating or summer spent out on the boat. So I always start with a circle at the top and then a line going down from there. Then close to that top circle, I put a line going perpendicular, and I put 2 little circles on the end of that short line, and then I finish it with a semicircular line there. I thicken that semicircle area right where it meets the cross, and then of course just 2 little triangles on the ends. And if you're having trouble drawing an anchor, what I would say is just try drawing it on a bit of graph paper to keep it symmetrical, but once you do a few of them, they come together pretty easily. And of course I have to draw some wildflower, some sort of wildflower or another, because that is just one of my favorite parts of summer. And I'm just going to do a wild rose here. And if you want any more info about drawing flowers, leaves, and berries, I have a video all about that, and I will link it in the description below. And then I'm just going to add a baby jellyfish here. So now I'm sort of thinking about the layout and the design a little. So I want to fill in any blank areas. So if I have a little extra room somewhere. And what you can do is, if you want to perfect the design, I'm not saying that's what you should do, because these are just, sort of fun pieces to do on the fly and then just leave in your journal. But if you do want to, take it a step further, you can trace over your design with a bit of tracing paper. And that enables you to really work on the layout portion of this particular exercise. So you can sort of move things around. If the shell is too close to the barbecue, you can move it a bit, or you can completely move things around. Like you're going to see me move the anchor down here in between the jellyfish and the beach umbrella. And I just think that's sort of a better spot for it. And and then what I'll do is I'll take that drawing and I'll transfer it onto a good copy piece of paper, go over the transfer in pen, and then I've got my final design. So if that's what you want to do, that's another great way to work out your illustrative style and to sort of take this piece to the next level. I hope you guys have enjoyed learning a few summer illustrations. There's really no teaching illustration. I hope that you guys will go out and try these designs for yourself and develop your own illustrative voice and style. Thanks for watching, and please hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. There will be a new tutorial next week.